Hey lovelies, got an anonymous question for you. Alright, so what happens when you get to the biggest dose of HRT but still suffer from the peri symptoms? As in, what would be the next step? Right, so the biggest dosage of estrogen at the moment is 100 micrograms. Alright, that is the standard. Although I do know somebody that's actually on higher than that, and when I've went in to check out Louise Newsom's website, there are some suggestions about 200 and 300 micrograms. But basically the basic maximum is 100. You would need to be like a special case. That sounds terrible, but you know what I mean. Alright, so what happens quite often is the younger you are when you go into perimenopause, the higher the dosage you need. So don't be thinking that just if you're young, like under 40 usually is classed as young. Alright, if you're under 40 and they start you on 25, 50, 75 and quite quickly you're on 100, don't think for 1 minute that the next step would automatically mean that you would be a special case and you would need 125 or 150 or 200 or whatever, because you wouldn't. What the scientific evidence says is that quite often, because you are younger, you will need more HRT, but as you get older the need for your HRT will stay the same or will decrease, so you might actually get through the rest of your life using the recommended amount, so 100 micrograms or less kind of thing. Alright, it also depends, but should that not be the case, right, and you're already on the 100 and you're thinking, oh my god, my symptoms are coming back, you can ask the doctor to do, especially if it's the patches, right, or the gels, you can ask the doctor to do a blood test to check your hormone levels. Right, now you don't need this to determine if you're perimenopausal, but if you're on HRT and have been for a couple of months so that it's in your system, you can ask for a blood test to check your absorption rate. So it will tell you what your hormone levels are in the blood test, but it will be directly linked to the absorption rate, right? So I do have friends that started off in the patch and they just haven't found it very helpful, but they'll be on the exact same amount of estrogen via a gel. Alright, so also different brands, it's Everall that I'm on, right, but different brands, even though they're the same patch, right, the absorption rates can be different, and that's down to your skin, right, that's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with the HRT. And also you need to think about where you're putting it on in your body. So sometimes I put it on my hip, sometimes I put it on my, like the top of my bum cheek, sometimes I put it on my tummy, and that's basically, it just starts to irritate me, right? But I don't know if that's anything to do with absorbing my symptoms. I've never been that up and down that I've actually thought about that, but that is something for you to think about as well. So it's like a lot of stuff, right? When we take it, our body gets used to it. It's like your steps. If you go and do 10,000 steps a day for 3 years, right, chances are your body's used to it. You're going to need to increase your steps at some time. So if you've been on HRT for a while and you've noticed that your symptoms have started to come back, yes, you may need a review, right? You should all be signing in with the doctors for an annual review minimum, all right? But you also need to think about that your body's just got used to it. So you might need to change where you put your patch on or where you rub your gel in, or you might need to change products. So you might need to change from the gel into the patch or vice versa, etc. All right. So I suppose the bottom line to that question is don't panic, right? Because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be stuck on the highest dose, 100 micrograms, and you're going to be stuck with your symptoms. It doesn't. There are a few tweaks that you can do, right? But also, I think we all know by now, right, that HRT is not a miracle cure. It's absolutely not a miracle cure. And managing your symptoms is obviously equally your responsibility, as well as just sticking a patch on your arse or wherever you're putting it, by doing the things that we all know that we should be doing, like filling our beds with healthy food, filling our bodies with healthy food, cutting back on processed food, cutting back on alcohol, making sure you've got a pre-bed routine and you're getting a decent night's sleep, drink your water, eat your healthy food, exercise, do your steps, train. Those are all banging things for managing perimenopause symptoms, which you all know because that's why you're working with me. Alright, as always, girls, any questions on HRT, anything midlife, menopausal, nutrition, fat loss, anything at all, alright, just give me a shout. Bye bye.